Hey guys, I'm Niles Davis with Huff Racing. This is the man, Josh Huff, team owner.
We're here to kind of talk about what happened last season. There's a whole lot, and what we're planning to do this season as we're getting closer to the season start, and kind of what our expectations and goals are for the season, and what you can expect to see from us. Here we are, let's get started.
Yeah, let's peel back the curtain a little bit more on Huff Racing. So last year,
a
lot of stuff happened.
Yes. Beginning of the season, we have one car, really, one race car. We have the Green Bean. It's a 2010 GTI. So we go into our first event. Obviously, Niles beats me by an amount of time that I'm sure Jacob can show around this area, maybe. And one of the fun things about the first event, though, is because we only had one car, we have multiple drivers. We got Jacob to be able to ride along with Al Hermans. Thank you, Al. First off, Al is one of the great guys in the region. So he let Jacob ride in Cujo Light, which is a 500 horsepower Mustang that is, I mean, it's a track car. So Jacob is on his first time running was Michelin Sport. Basically, it's a slick, similar to a Hoosier tire. It starts snowing. And Jacob on his first run going through the slalom, left, right, left, big Mustang things. Actually ended up putting down a really good time after. He did end up beating Al in Al's own car.
Really cool.
Jacob has a pretty big tendency
first time out
of doing that to people. So that was a really fun event. We had a good event. Then Jacob and I think before that, we went out to Salina, had a great event, another one too. So we're feeling really good, feel great. After the first event, we go to install a baffled oil pan to the GTI. So this was our attempt at avoiding an oil starvation issue.
And we also had just done the timing chains on it as well.
We had just done the timing
so we did the timing chains. We saw a little bit of material that we thought might have been from the old timing chain.
We thought.
In the pan.
We go to the next event, and I think it was the second or third run, Niles puts down a pretty good time. As he's coming across, you can see the panic in his eyes.
As I was coming through one of the bends, I started hearing kind of a strange ticky noise, and I was like, ooh, that was kind of weird. And then as I came through the finish, it did not stop.
We turned the car on, shut it down, shut it down.
We turned it right off.
I think the motor's bad.
We blew the motor.
I think so.
And well, the rest you can watch.
Yeah, so that's, let's set this up. That's about 3 weeks before spring nationals.
Yeah, it was like, I think we had like right around a month.
Yeah, around a month
happened.
before spring nationals.
And there was a lot of discussion on what we were gonna do next.
So we go and we look, and we just happen to find the Golf R in the Carvana vending machine, like 3 blocks from my house, less than a week after we blew the car.
Something like that. It was pretty quick because we wanted to make spring nats.
Exactly.
So it was like the decision had to be made. It was completely stock for that first event. So we ran it completely stock at Topeka.
We had our 660s that we pulled off of the GTI on our Alzor wheels. I hated it.
He did the first event.
I hated the car. Niles did pretty good.
Yeah, I was fine with it.
Yeah, again, mostly I'm terrible at shifting. Bought some car parts. And texted Niles, and he's got us on the schedule at BHR. So what we have you guys?
What we ended up doing that visit was K-Mac front camber plates.
Strut
mount camber plate combo.
Gives us about 3 degrees on the front wheels, which is
Yeah, really nice, really, really nice. Coney shocks, it didn't do coilovers on this one with lowering springs. Of course, put fresh hardware on there. Integrated engineering stage 1 tune,
Yes.
which allowed us to go to European traction control settings, which is totally underrated as far as its value in autocross.
Yes.
The ability to turn off basically everything is a huge deal, and you can't really do that in the North American computer on it, the way that it's set up. It really needed that to wake it up a lot more, because I mean, before we tuned it, whenever we were running the stock Golf R, I mean, it was
bogged down on the launch.
It was, I would say it was slower than the GTI. Before actually competing at Spring Nats, the only time we had on the setup with the new springs and shocks and the tune and everything was the little test and tune course they had there. So we paid for a bunch of runs to do that. We ran it around there. That was the only chance we had to really run it. So we were, I mean, shoot, I really think it takes a full season, if not more, to really get to figure out a setup.
Oh, yeah.
And we had, you know, what?
A day.
Maybe 10, 12 runs on it beforehand.
You really got the hang of it the second day.
Catching up to Steve.
Catching up to Steve, Garn Jobs. Steve, I think, got you on his last run.
Yeah, it was the second day we were kind of duking it back and forth, but he pulled it out. He drove a great race.
Then Jacob and Blake, they ran an EP in the Civic. Niles and Blake worked for about 3 nights straight, about like 72 hours. They got the motor in and out. We started it once in Niles's driveway, then we put it on a trailer, and the one thing that can be said about that car really is it was loud.
Very loud.
It's the loudest car I've ever owned. It was just them.
Yeah, it was just them.
So Jacob got his first national trophy. So he got the plaque. So we get home, then we had, I mean, we ran so many events last year, so we kept going. We had multiple regional events. I mean, it's 1-2s. I mean, it really was 1-2s across the board at every regional event. Josh got together an awesome little magnet package for the Golf R with like the Golf R. That was really cool. I just randomly texted Jacob, you know, like, hey, like golf is really close to golf. Like, we should do that. And he did it. So we got these magnets, and
awesome.
It's a magnetic livery that we just throw on for the races. And
because there's a lot of people at nationals that like have fun with it. Of course, there was that one Civic that was running, I think it was H Street or G Street ladies, that was all retroed up. Yeah. So like, you know, it's the fun part of nationals is not just competing at it, but the vibe of the whole event. It's
the
like
pageantry.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's so by driver participation, SCCA National Solo is the largest motorsports event in the world. So yeah, it's really cool. It's basically like a little festival to autocross. It's awesome. So show up there, brought a big trailer. We brought the whole crew. We had 4 drivers, 2 cars, and a group of about 7 or 8 of us out there representing the Kansas City region. It's really awesome. It's so fun. It was really fun. Day 1, it becomes pretty apparent that the car is going to have some limitations. Yeah, it's behind the curve, big time behind the curve. And not just the car, but of course us as drivers, right? So, and day 2, we're really hoping to catch up, and it kind of was just the same. It's hard to kind of put into perspective until you've gone to a national event, is the length of course. At nationals, it's a full mile. Since the courses are really long, you have to maintain your focus longer than you would at a regular autocross course. And that's something that just takes time and experience. And a lot of guys, they have to go to multiple national championships to, you know, get themselves a podium or a trophy and things like that. And I'm not gonna say that I'm as good of a driver as many of the other guys who've been doing this for years and years and years. I won't make that claim, but I'm glad to get the experience in there. We do nationals. Josh gets 15th, 16 cars in our class. He gets 15th, I get 12th. We come back and we know we need to make a change. Big changes. And so there was some choices out there. One of them was one of the TTs. It was ready to go. Ready to go. It was a car that we felt really good about, that we saw run at nationals, that was gridded literally right next to us. We saw run really well. Really well. We liked the way it was set up. We liked the way it was built. We really liked the parts that were on it, and it just seemed like the right thing. Yeah, so we got that delivered. It came in.
I was driving it over to BHR, to our friends at BHR.
You have to show me the car.
To show Niles the car. And it was raining that day.
Yeah, I want to say it was about 35 degrees and it was like a wintry mix.
So I'm going through an intersection and experience some understeer. And I'm on the brakes and it just slides. And it slides and it slides and we go over the curb. And so I get the car off the curb and just kind of walking around looking at it. The front bumper is gone. This is a race car. This was, as we said, it was low.
I mean, it only had 6-inch springs on it.
The list of parts that we broke, was 35, maybe 30 miles an hour.
It wreaked a lot of havoc, and ultimately the car ended up being totaled. So then once
1 mile on the odometer over here. I put 1 mile on the odometer.
We didn't know what was going to happen with the GTI yet.
We were gonna maybe sell one of the cars.
We were going to sell one of the cars,
the
the R or the GTI, but we both knew the GTI needed to be fixed,
Yes.
period. It just needed to be fixed.
For the last couple events in the season, GTI's running. We just run the GTI and the R. We kind of swap around drivers throughout the cars.
Yeah. And we finished the year, the last event, so the first event of the year, we started in the green bean, and the last event of the year, we finished in the green bean. It just didn't run in the middle.
In the middle. And one of the big highlights, I'd say, of the entire season for me was the last couple Salina races. Jacob and I went out there in the bean. Jacob took 2 in a row, top packs races. Fastest time of the day. And one of the people that showed up was Ron Williams.
Yeah,
and
multiple time national champion.
But as the season goes, in our regions, we competed in 3 regions competitively.
Mm-hmm.
It was Kansas, it was Salina, and Kansas City region. In the Kansas City region, Niles.
It was a fantastic season for me. In the Kansas City region, I felt like no matter what car I was in, whether I was in the R or I was in the GTI, I was set up to succeed, and obviously the stats show that. And then
I got second place
right behind me
in Kansas City region.
And came damn close to me in certain spots.
We had a couple of races that were really, really good.
Really close.
There was a couple of times when Niles, he had a time that we knew was fast, but then I'd get like a similar time, and then he'd find really 2 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, you don't forget there was plenty of times during the course of that season, especially when we were driving the R, where you started hotter than I did, and I had to catch up.
Yeah, and that's the fun of autocross, honestly.
It's awesome.
So then we did Salina, which Jacob took first place in STH. Huge congratulations. This is, I got second place again in Salina. And then in the Kansas region, I won?
If you look at the stat sheet, he's at the top of STH.
I won the Kansas region STH, which is awesome. I feel, we just went out and we competed and almost every weekend, and we're just
brought home 3 regional trophies. So
and then I won what I think is probably the most important award in the Kansas City region.
Yes.
It's the Cone King. So this award is given to the individual that hits the most amount of cones
combined over the course of the whole season.
The whole season. I hit 44 cones. Woo! Over the course of this season.
Now, I'm going to go on the Josh Huff defense tour. So, Josh was the Cone King. Nobody can take that away from him.
Nobody.
But keep in mind that Josh went to every single event. It's not like you get drops for cones. He just adds up all the cones. So he went to every single event in the Kansas City region, and he was going balls to the walls. And every single event, he did have at least 1 clean run that counted. So that's me in defense of Josh.
Going into 2023, our current driver lineup, what we have is in our main car, in the green bean, the monster machine, we have Niles Davis and Jacob Orlowski. They will be driving in STH regionally and nationally.
But we will definitely be duking it out. Jacob's a really good driver. It's going to be really tight. We're going to be pushing each other the whole time. I'm super excited for this season and us bouncing ideas off of each other and just pushing each other to go faster and faster. It's going to be great.
We're going to be driving our 2012 Golf R with myself, Josh Huff, and with Blake McIntyre. This is Blake. In STS Ladies, we are going to be fielding the Honda Fit, driven by Tyra. And honestly, who doesn't love watching a Honda Fit race? We just ready to go racing. And a new thing this season, every one of our races will be broadcast live through our streaming partner, Broadcast Racing. Twitch is going to be where you catch it. You guys are going to see what it's like, not just being on the track and racing, but on the paddock, and what happens in between the runs, and what happens when we break parts, and these types of things that happen when you go racing. So follow along, make sure to follow Broadcast Racing on Instagram, Huff Racing, and to just support our sponsors because they support us. Thank you to Brand One for doing all of our printing. You guys do excellent work. Brandon,
great job.
We appreciate everything that you do for us. Thank you for the Restoration Emporium, Kansas City Furnishing Company, allowing us to use this beautiful space to shoot today, and for supporting us, our earliest sponsors. I mean, we have harnesses because of you. We have tires because of you guys. We did get some new shirts, actually. We got the Huff Racing.
Dude, check our new merch.
Look at this. We're selling these to help buy tires and gasoline.
Long sleeve with a pocket.
And post-race drinks.
Of course.
If anybody's looking to sponsor us, we do have available sponsorships.
There's plenty of real estate on the shirt for sponsorship.
I wear a double XL. You have no idea how many logos
we could get wide. We could start fitting them under the armpits.
Yeah.
First event, Kansas City region.
First event, Kansas City region, March 26th. Come out if you want to compete. Motorsports Reg, look up Kansas City region. You'll be able to find it. It's pretty simple.
Registration is open now.
Right
now.
Probably about a week left on registration.
Sign up,
come race with us, or if you just want to come watch us race, ride along, reach out, let us know.
Especially if you got a Volkswagen platform, come up and get a ride. Maybe we can show you a few things you didn't know the car could do.
Absolutely. Keep an eye out for the Salina recap video. That'll be coming out here soon. And we also will be doing some tech talks with Niles, talking about the Volkswagen build, the green bean build, all the things that we ran into.
We'll get into more of the nitty gritties of the green bean, what we did to it, what modifications we did.
We're here to tell you the story and show you what grassroots motorsports is like. The good, the bad, and a whole lot of ugly. This has been Huff Racing.